For months, I had been on the hunt for employment, a quest that began the moment I received my diploma in visual communications. The job market was tough, and the number of applicants was overwhelming. Despite sending out countless resumes, the response was disheartening. A few polite declines and a deafening silence were all I got. In a bid for any source of earnings, my attention was captured by a listing on JobFinder that read, "Visual communicator wanted for burgeoning digital enterprise. Work on your own schedule, competitive salary, prior experience not a prerequisite. Submit your portfolio and contact details to be considered." Seizing the chance, I responded immediately. With haste, I compiled a selection of my finest creations and dispatched it to the provided email. My hopes soared. Perhaps this was the turning point, the moment I'd secure a position that would embrace my artistic flair and technical prowess. The following day brought with it a wave of excitement. I had received a response. A gentleman by the name of Alex, the purported proprietor of the venture, expressed admiration for my work and extended an offer of employment. He invited me to his workspace for a discussion and a test assignment. He provided the location and the time, eagerly anticipating our meeting. Overjoyed, I could hardly fathom my good fortune. It all seemed too perfect, a role that mirrored my aspirations. I conveyed my gratitude to Alex and assured him of my attendance. I dedicated the remainder of the day to interview preparations. I delved into the enterprise, Creative Visions by Alex, a portal offering bespoke visual communication solutions to a diverse clientele, including brand identities, promotional materials, and web designs. The professionalism and caliber of the showcase projects were truly impressive. I selected an ensemble that struck a balance between professional and relaxed, and packed my essentials, laptop, notepad, and pen. I was determined to leave a lasting impression and demonstrate my readiness to contribute. At dawn, I embarked on my journey to the address Alex had given. It was situated in a quaint suburb of Springfield, Illinois, roughly an hour's commute from my residence. Consulting my phone's map, I noted the residential nature of the street, dotted with homes and apartment buildings. Stepping off the bus, I approached the designated location. It was a quaint bungalow with a neatly trimmed lawn and driveway. A placard by the entrance announced Creative Visions by Alex. I pressed the doorbell and awaited a response. Moments later, the door swung open, revealing a man in his prime, with neatly cropped auburn hair and a light beard. Clad in a polo shirt and trachis, his warm grin was welcoming. "Ah, you must be Emily. I'm Alex, the mind behind Creative Visions by Alex. Please come inside," he greeted, offering a handshake. I reciprocated the gesture and returned the smile. "Hello, Alex. It's a pleasure to meet you. I appreciate the invitation." He ushered me into his abode, a charming space brimming with books, periodicals, and assorted documents, and a prominent workstation housing a computer and printer occupied the main area. Family portraits adorned the walls, likely depicting his loved ones. "Apologies for the clutter. I operate from home, and tidying up often takes a backseat," he explained, securing the door. "This is my command center, where the magic happens. And today, it's where you'll be putting your talents to the test." He motioned towards a modest setup in the corner, a chair, and a laptop awaiting use. "I've prepared this workstation for you, equipped with all the necessary software and resources. It's here that you'll tackle the sample task I've assigned." Approaching the table, he handed me a file. Inside you'll find the project outline. It's for a patron desiring a logo for their fledgling patisserie. They're after a design that's understated yet sophisticated, one that encapsulates their brand and offerings. They've requested 3 color variations to select their favorite. You have a couple of hours to fulfill this brief and email me the results. Any inquiries? I glanced through the project details enclosed in the folder. It appeared clear-cut and manageable. I gave a nod and responded, "No, all seems clear. Many thanks." "Excellent. You can commence immediately." "I'll be engrossed in my tasks. Yet if you require assistance, don't hesitate to ask." "I'm right over there," he indicated towards his workstation. He retreated to his desk and settled in, booting up his computer and commencing his work. I took my seat at the designated table and powered up the laptop. I entered the password provided by Alex and launched the design application. Revisiting the project brief, I began to conjure up concepts for the logo. A mix of eagerness and anxiety filled me. I was intent on delivering an impressive performance and earning Alex's approval. I aspired for this to be the beginning of a rewarding partnership. With focus, I immersed myself in the task, tuning out all distractions. Time slipped by unnoticed. The quietude of the room, the sound of the door, the echo of footsteps, the presence behind me, all escaped my awareness. But the cold seal against my neck snapped me to attention. A scream tore from my throat as I attempted to fend off my assailant, but I was caught off guard. Alex, the man I had trusted, had stealthily approached from behind and now pressed a knife to my skin. His demands clear. Panic surged as I fought his hold, but his strength was overpowering. Then the self-defense techniques I had learned sprang to mind. Channeling all my force, I delivered an elbow strike to his abdomen and reeled free from his clutches. Driven by adrenaline, I seized a hefty ornament and swung it at his face, landing a solid blow. Reeling from the impact, Alex clutched his injured nose, affording me a moment to dash for the exit. I sprinted into the open, heart racing, tears blending with the rush of terror and bewilderment. At last, I encountered a bystander and cried out for aid. They promptly contacted the emergency services and soon the police were on the scene. Shaking and overwhelmed, I narrated the harrowing event to the officers. They pledged to do all within their power to capture the perpetrator. An extensive investigation ensued, culminating in Alex's arrest and charges of attempted assault and abduction. It was revealed that he had ensnared others with the false promise of job opportunities, only to ambush them in a similar fashion. The thought of what might have occurred had I not resisted sent shivers down my spine. Though the ordeal left its scars, a sense of solace washed over me, knowing I had emerged safe and that justice would prevail. Supported by loved ones, I began the journey of recovery, resolved to remain vigilant. As for Alex, justice was served with a sentence that ensured his confinement, eliminating the threat he posed to the unsuspecting. It was a glimmer of light amidst the shadows, sealing off a chapter I was all too ready to close. In the serene village of Meadowbrook, cradled in the valleys of Vermont, a disturbing event unfolded that sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community. It was in the autumn of 2021 when Anna Thompson, a university student facing financial difficulties, decided to part with her vintage guitar. As the expenses mounted, she posted an ad on a local classifieds website, hoping it would catch the eye of an interested buyer. As the days passed, Anna's optimism waned. But then, on a foggy evening in mid-September, a ray of hope shone through as she received a message from a prospective buyer, Thomas Richards. Thomas conveyed his eagerness to acquire the guitar and proposed they meet to complete the sale. Despite a flicker of hesitation, Anna, driven by the urgency of her situation, consented to the rendezvous. On a crisp Saturday morning in 2021, Anna made her way to a quaint bookstore to meet with Thomas. She had a history of smooth online sales and expected this to be no different. Yet, upon her arrival, a sense of foreboding washed over her. Thomas was not alone. Two shadowy figures accompanied him, their intentions unclear. Anna's intuition screamed caution, but before she could act, Thomas made a sudden move towards her. Panic surged as she found herself in the midst of an assault. In the struggle that ensued, a loud bang pierced the air, a gunshot. The projectile struck Anna in the side, and she crumpled to the floor, struggling for breath. Unknown to Anna, an onlooker had observed the distressing episode and immediately alerted the authorities. Within moments, police and emergency medical teams converged on the scene. They discovered Anna, fighting for survival amidst a crimson tide. The paramedics sprang into action, stabilizing her before whisking her away to the closest hospital. The news of Anna's ordeal spread like wildfire across Meadowbrook, leaving the populace in a state of disbelief and anger. The local law enforcement embarked on an exhaustive investigation, vowing to bring the culprits to justice. In the days that followed, detectives pieced together the sequence of events that led to Anna's grievous encounter. It became apparent that Thomas Richards was no stranger to the law, with a track record of criminal conduct linked to online dealings. It was clear that Anna had inadvertently walked into a malevolent scheme devised by a criminal ring. Persistence paid off for the authorities as they eventually apprehended Thomas and his two associates. The evidence against them was formidable, leading to charges not only for the attack on Anna, but also for a string of related fraudulent online activities. The trial that ensued was fraught with emotion. Anna's family and friends filled the courtroom, seeking solace and justice. The testimony presented painted a grim picture of the trio's ruthless exploits. The judge and jury were united in their revulsion at the sheer inhumanity displayed. Deliberation led to a decisive guilty verdict for all three defendants. Thomas Richards was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole, and his accomplices received significant sentences for their roles in the crimes. Though the verdict brought a measure of comfort to Meadowbrook, the community grappled with a profound sense of loss and reflection on preventative measures. The incident served as a sobering reminder of the dangers inherent in online exchanges with strangers, igniting discussions on personal safety and the importance of vigilance during face-to-face transactions. Following the distressing event involving Anna, the village of Meadowbrook rallied together to enhance the safety of online dealings. In partnership with civic leaders, the local authorities instituted designated safe exchange points, supervised by law enforcement, to ensure secure face-to-face transactions. Overwhelmed by their sorrow, Anna's kin and companions directed their grief into activism. They founded a charitable organization in her honor, aimed at educating the public on the perils of online marketplaces and providing aid to those affected by similar offenses. The ordeal left a lasting impression on the residents of Meadowbrook, serving as a poignant reminder of the precariousness of life and the importance of caution in a digitally connected society. Anna's legacy lived on in the memories of those who knew her, and the insights from her unfortunate experience became a guiding light of prudence and fortitude for the coming generations. For some time, I had been on the lookout for a replacement for my damaged and sluggish phone. With a limited budget, I turned to Dell Spotter for affordable options. There, I stumbled upon an advertisement for an iPhone XR at a mere $250, a deal that seemed almost unreal. Driven by curiosity, I messaged the contact to inquire about its availability. The response was prompt. The seller confirmed its availability. He explained that it was a gift for his partner. But following their separation, the phone was left unwanted. His aim was simply to part with it swiftly. His tone was sincere and amiable, prompting me to arrange a meeting at a local cafe the following afternoon. With a blend of excitement and apprehension, I made my way to the cafe. I was hopeful for a legitimate transaction and a phone in prime condition. Despite being aware of deal spotter scams, I also knew of many successful deals. The potential savings seemed to justify the risk. Upon arrival, I scanned the cafe for the seller, who had described himself as a tall, dark-haired individual in a green jacket. I noticed him seated, a phone in hand, and he greeted me with a wave and a friendly smile. Approaching him, I introduced myself. "Hello, I'm Samantha. You're selling the iPhone, correct?" He rose to greet me, his stature more imposing than anticipated, with a robust frame, striking green eyes, and a disarming smile. He didn't fit the profile of a con artist. "Hey, Samantha. I'm Michael. Pleasure to meet you. Here's the phone. It's as good as new. Feel free to examine it." He passed me the phone, which appeared immaculate and operational. It powered on without issue, was unlocked, and devoid of any security codes. A quick look through the apps and settings confirmed its excellent state. I was both impressed and elated. "This is fantastic. It's just what I've been searching for. How would you like payment? A cash transaction would be ideal. Do you have it on you? He inquired casually. I nodded, retrieving the $250 I had withdrawn earlier, neatly packed in an envelope. As I reached for the envelope, I noticed a shift in Michael's demeanor. His once warm smile turned chilling. He surveyed the surroundings before leaning in with a menacing whisper. I must apologize, Samantha, but I'm going to need all your cash. Not just the $250, but every cent you have. Your purse, car keys, and let's keep this quiet, or things could get unpleasant. Understand? A wave of shock and fear washed over me as I realized the trap I had walked into. This was no ordinary seller. He was a thief using a counterfeit firm and story as bait. The man before me was a criminal, and I was his target. Attempting to maintain composure, I replied, I'm sorry, what are you implying? This has to be some sort of prank, right? He shook his head, his voice stern. This is no joke. It's a serious matter. Comply, or you'll regret it. I have a weapon, and I won't hesitate. Hand over your money, purse, keys, and phone. Immediately. He made a grab for the envelope in my grasp, but I jerked it away. Fear mingled with indignation within me. The money was the fruit of my labor, and I wasn't about to surrender it without a struggle. I resolved to stand my ground. I declare no, I refuse. This money is mine, and you have no right to it. You're nothing but fraud and a crook, and I won't let you succeed. Help? I need help. This man is attempting to rob me. My voice soared in a desperate plea, cutting through the air, a call for assistance and intervention. I yearned for someone to heed my cries, for a savior to intervene. I wished for the assailant, whom I knew as Michael, to be daunted and flee. Above all, I wished for safety, but my hopes were dashed. Michael seized me by the locks and yanked me close. A blade pressed against my skin as he hissed, Silence, you fool. You've just sealed your fate. A searing agony erupted in my skull, and the world faded to blackness. Regaining consciousness, I found myself in the sterile confines of a hospital, the scent of disinfectant in the air, and the rhythmic beeping of monitors in the background. A dull pain throbbed in my head, leaving me bewildered. A nurse, noting my return to consciousness, approached with urgency. You're awake. How do you feel? She inquired, her voice a blend of worry and solace. My mind scrambled to piece together the events. What transpired? I rasped. You were assaulted, she informed me softly. You were discovered unconscious near the cafe where your meeting was arranged. You've been here for several hours. Do any memories linger? Memories of the ordeal trickled back, the deceptive advertisement, the encounter with the supposed seller, the abrupt escalation to hostility, and the subsequent blow that rendered me unconscious. I recall, I murmured, emotions swelling within me. The nurse's hand rested reassuringly on my shoulder. Fear not. You are in a safe place. The authorities are conducting an investigation, and the culprit has been apprehended. He will face the consequences of his actions. A wave of relief surged through me, coupled with appreciation for the prompt response of the police. Despite the trauma, a spark of hope ignited within me, knowing that the individual responsible for my terror would be brought to justice. As I lay there, enveloped in the care of the hospital staff, I made a silent vow to regain my sense of security and fortitude. The experience had left its mark, but I refused to be governed by fear. With each passing moment, I felt my resolve strengthen, ready to step out of the shadows and into the lights, fortified and resolute. In 2017 in Portland, Oregon, a young lady named Rebecca found herself in search of a new companion. Having recently relocated from a small Idahoan town, she found herself longing for companionship in the midst of her bustling life in the city. By day, she served as a waitress in a local diner, but during her off hours, she felt a palpable sense of loneliness. Determined to fill this void, she set her sights on acquiring a puppy, hoping it would inject some joy and vibrancy into her days. Despite scouring the internet for local breeders and shelters, Rebecca struggled to find the perfect pup that met her criteria. Small, fluffy, and sociable enough to fit seamlessly into her apartment life. Dreaming of a poodle or a Maltese, she was disheartened to find that such breeds often came with a hefty price tag, far beyond her budget. Undeterred, she turned to Craigslist, hoping to find a generous soul offering their puppies at an affordable rate. After scrolling through numerous listings, she stumbled upon an ad that caught her attention. Lovely Poodle Maltese cross puppies available for purchase. Just $100 each. Ready for their new homes. Contact me via call or text at this number if interested. The ad featured several snapshots of adorable white puppies with curly coats and soulful eyes, tugging at Rebecca's heartstrings. Without hesitation, she reached out to the seller via text. "Hello, I came across your ad on Craigslist. Are the puppies still available?" she inquired eagerly. Moments later, a reply came through. "Indeed, they are still available. I have 2 males and 1 female remaining. Which one would you like?" Rebecca's heart leaped with excitement. "I would love to have the female. She's absolutely adorable. Wonderful choice. She's yours. Where would you like to meet?" The seller responded promptly. Rebecca pondered for a moment, weighing the options. She was hesitant to invite a stranger to her apartment, yet she also wanted to ensure her safety. Opting for a compromise, she suggested a public meeting spot. "What about Starbucks on 5th Avenue? It's conveniently located for me." "That works for me. What time shall we meet?" Rebecca glanced at her watch. It was 3 p.m. on a Saturday, her day off. "I can be there in an hour. Is that acceptable?" "Perfect. See you then." With the conversation concluded, Rebecca felt a surge of anticipation. Today was the day she would welcome a new furry friend into her life. Hastily, she gathered her belongings and headed out, stopping at an ATM to withdraw $100 before making her way to Starbucks. Arriving promptly at 4 p.m., Rebecca scanned the coffee shop, searching for the tall, blond man described by the seller. However, she found no one matching the description. Undeterred, she decided to wait inside, ordering a latte to pass the time. As she paid for her drink, a tap on her shoulder startled her. "Excuse me, are you Rebecca?" As Rachel turned, she was met with a man who didn't fit the description she expected. Short and dark-haired, he introduced himself as Mike, here for the puppy exchange. Rachel's caution spiked as she realized the discrepancy. "You're not who I spoke with," she pointed out. Mike offered a strained smile, explaining his brother's absence and presenting the puppy in a box. Rachel's relief surged as she saw the familiar furry face. Grateful, she cradled the puppy close, feeling its warmth and liveliness. With an offer to move elsewhere to avoid disturbing others, Rachel's unease grew. She remembered the cash in her purse and agreed to leave. But as they turned a corner, shadows loomed, and before Rachel could react, she was attacked. Struggling against the assailant's brutal assault, she was left battered and unconscious. Days later, Rachel woke in a hospital room, her body broken but spirit resilient. Learning the grim truth about her attacker's modus operandi, she understood the peril she had narrowly escaped. Grateful for survival, she embraced her new life with Snowflake, a constant reminder of both pain endured and love found. Reflecting on her ordeal, Rachel resolved to remain vigilant, knowing the importance of awareness and caution in a world fraught with dangers. She learned to navigate life's challenges with newfound strength, embracing each day with hope and resilience, cherishing the love and joy her furry companion brought into her life. As for the commentary, it's prudent to acknowledge the importance of situational awareness and taking precautions in unfamiliar situations. Rachel's experience serves as a reminder to stay alert and prioritize personal safety, whether it's meeting someone from online platforms or navigating daily life. By staying vigilant and prepared, individuals can mitigate risks and safeguard themselves against potential threats.